Hey Sagittarius, this is wishkotheferret. Thanks for hopping into one of my many hidey holes around the city. Currently, the ferret den is under construction at the moment, and it is way too noisy to be hosting a reading there. So it is nice and rainy, so instead of venturing outside, I have come to a friend's place where I will deliver your reading. So we have one for you for April 10th to the 16th. And yeah, we'll just see. Let's just get started here. Let's just see what Spirit has for you. So, as always, Sagittarius, drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And while you're doing that, I will be saying my prayer. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for surrounding me with a bubble of protection at this time. Thank you, Angel Team. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for connecting me with the energy of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or anyone else who happens to be coming across this reading at this time and is in need of a little bit of empowerment or a little bit of advice for how to carry on, different things to look for. Just thank you for connecting me with their energy. The intent is to uplift and empower and really just to help people express their authentic joy and their true selves. Okay, so they're saying remember these words. I feel like this reading for you, Sagittarius, is going to be based on authenticity and connecting with your voice. Interestingly enough, I did have a lot of dreams before this reading where a lion came through. It was like the most beautiful lion ever with like different shades of brown and yellow and gold in his mane. And I remember just staring at this thing for like several seconds because usually I get flashes of these things. But in this dream, like he literally showed up like twice, this lion. So lions are about stepping up, being courageous, letting people know your roar, being a leader. But the big thing is being courageous and speaking your truth, speaking your voice. So what do we have for Sagittarius today? Okay. So right off the bat here we have balance. I understand and embrace the opposing forces in life that bring about balance. I'm hearing something. This could be a situation where you're speaking on behalf of another person, but it's requiring you to, it's almost like you are conveying the truth, but it's almost like you're responsible for conveying truths of both sides. I feel like there's a duality of a situation where you have your perspective, somebody else has their own perspective, and it's almost kind of a yin and yang, but you have the ability to hold those two. So even if this isn't a situation, it's almost like you are spreading the truth of this duality. You are holding the yin and the yang. You're keeping these perspectives balanced within you, and you're being the main communicator of that. So whatever this is, it's leading to change. So you have this card that says embrace change. I move easily and confidently through the changes in my life. Before I skip ahead here, because Spirit's like actually double back. There is some type of, I'm just getting an inkling, like these cards are kind of bouncing off one another. I do feel like there is some type of change that these perspectives are going to lead to. Holding this duality and helping others understand that dual perspective or like different perspectives is going to help aid in calming things, or at least moving things forward into the direction that's for the highest good of all, essentially. And there's something here, again, you're managing these stripes very well. And there's just something here about you being like a main communicator here. So specifically, I just said communicator, and you have Mercury on your astro dice. You have Mercury, Leo, and the 12th house. And again, so interestingly enough, you have the sign of Leo coming up in your astro dice when I just said about the lion, like speaking your truth. And lion and Leo are kind of hand in hand, you know. So there is something here about expressing confidently words that will give direction to this change. This change that's coming is going to be a result of whatever words that you speak. These are manifesting in your 12th house, in the 12th house. So this is actually like, the 12th house is in regards to abandonment issues. So this could be in relation to an abandonment issue. This is also like a very heavy house. This is a heavy house of things like I feel like, okay, for whatever reason it's coming through, like this is the house of discernment too. This is like tower energy almost, but I want to be careful of how I say that because it's not quite tower energy, but it feels like there's something here. It's replicating the tower almost, where things might appear like they are falling apart, but you understand with these dual perspectives that it's falling apart so that something better can be constructed. But a lot of people who, like, I guess there's a shadow side of this 12th house, because the 12th house can actually serve us. It is the house of very dark thoughts, our addictions, our depression spirals, our I just feel like it's issues of discernment and just the levels of our life that require us to go deep into like the shadow work and everything. And those and the 8th house kind of play hand in hand, but I really do feel like this is something, the message that's coming through with this 12th house is you're tapping onto other people's 12th house. Like this isn't just your 12th house, Sagittarius. Like you are helping shed light on the perspectives of other people who are exhibiting issues with their 12th house right now too. So some signs that you specifically, like some of the earth signs are coming through, like Virgo. I don't ever get signs as weird. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus is coming through, but not quite as strongly. I just feel strongly that there's like a Virgo. There could be a Virgo or a Capricorn that you are meant to help or meant to help heal through like your communication. It's through the wisdom of your words that you will achieve this change, not only for yourself, but it will head in a positive direction for these folks as well. Whether they realize it or not, it just feels like, you are a blessing here, Sagittarius. Be the voice, not quite take someone else's voice, but even if it is like, if you are having a situation or you're at a crossroads with somebody, helping articulate their perspective while also still maintaining your own and standing strong in your own truth, that understanding is going to help you build your bridge so that you can cross over this and create better change. So let's see what else we have for you, Sagittarius, for this week. You have the grasshopper spirit. Take a leap of faith. I just keep hearing the same thing. I keep hearing, remember this moment, remember this pivotal moment. There's something here about remembering the types of, like, whatever this drama is or whatever these issues are right now that you're having. Remember this moment, because this is calling forth some type of strength. This is an episode of strength for you. And this is almost kind of revealing your gifts here. So even if the other person doesn't react in the way that you would want them to, it's still something to keep in mind. It's notable to keep in mind that you have this ability of words. You have this ability of, like, you have a strong connection to your wisdom and a strong connection to this Mercury energy with your words. So you are a messenger of sorts, and you have multiple truths within you. You just need to make sure you're standing strong in your own truth and take that leap of faith in regards to heading towards your change. With the grasshopper spirit, he's like, I just heard, for whatever reason, you're like the king of detours. You have the coyote spirit here too, trust in divine detours. And they just said you're like the king of detours, which is funny because the grasshopper spirit has a crown on his head. But I feel like your faith is being tested at this time. Your faith is being tested, but I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like holding your faith strong is difficult because it is a divine detour with the coyote spirit. And I feel I need to jump into coyote spirit before I talk about grasshopper spirit, but this coyote spirit, divine detour is usually something we don't consider it right off the bat when we're looking at the situation up close. We don't see it serving our highest good in any way. Is sometimes like these things are like usually off the beat of our drum. And they're not really, it's almost like I just hear someone say, you're messing with the plan. So it could be something that's like, kind of like something that you view as kind of a nuisance or in the way, or, oh my gosh, if this didn't happen, I would still be on track, or like, yeah, this is messing with my energy and this is awkward. There's just something here about, like, trust that this detour is like better serving you in your highest good than if you didn't experience it at all. But these are things that you will gain wisdom through in hindsight. You will be able to recognize how it is of value to you. The grasshopper spirit is taking that leap of faith and understanding and acknowledging your relationship with spirit. It's almost like they're saying take a leap of faith and trust that spirit is going to be helping you through this. I feel like some of you might be a little impartial to this statement. Like you might feel like these detours are kind of, excuse my French, but like a pain in the ass. And Spirit's saying, you know what, trust us, trust the process. And sometimes, like when I hear that from Spirit, I know sometimes I'm like in an episode where I'm just like, I feel like I have to do it all myself, or I feel like I'm about to make the wrong decision, or I feel like I'm not going to say the wrong thing whenever it comes time for me to stand up and speak my truth. And then I just hear, we have a plan. Trust us. Or they will even say, trust your friend. Trust your friend to make a good decision if it's in relation to me or somebody else. And I'm just like, oh. So like sometimes it's not even just trusting in spirit, but it's trusting like everybody else around you. Like trusting that the energy is working out in your favor and spirit's energy is working through everyone else around you and in the situations around you so that you can step into whatever change is necessary. And I feel like you'll intuitively know these changes as they come up. So I'm going to read these cards. This is from the Mediumship training deck. So specifically, some of you are like masters of mediumship. So that one of the other signs got that. I think it was Aries that got this card too. But I'm going to read the back of it here. This is the pretty front of it. So and again, this doesn't have to be in terms of mediumship. This could be just your connection to spirit. But I'm going to read it through. So many pioneers, scholars, and tutors in the field of mediumship and psychic sciences have paved the way for aspiring mediums. Much can be learned from mediums from bygone years to assist you with the unfoldment of your spiritual abilities and develop them safely and wisely. You can gain many insights from the invaluable wisdom and knowledge of those mediums that have dedicated their lives to serving spirit. You can learn different styles and facets of mediumship, but more importantly, you can understand how they lived and handled their everyday physical lives while using their gifts, talents, and abilities to help others. Okay, here come the list. If you want to take out your like a pen and paper or something for different mediums you can study, I'm just going to rapid fire them off. Emma Hardinge Britton, Arthur Findlay, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Grace Cook, Estelle Roberts, Gordon Higginson, Coral Polge, Ivy Northage, Eileen Garrett, Ursula Roberts, Doris Stokes, Albert Best, and Arthur Ford are just some of the great pioneers who have dedicated their lives to spirit. Researching some of these past mediums, as well as studying present-day experienced mediums and teachers, will help you gain inspiration and guidance. Be discerning and choose those who resonate with you, the ones you consider to be authentic and who treat the work with the highest regard. Don't emulate them, just learn from them. Be yourself and ask Spirit, please help me to work the way you want me to work and not the way I want to work. By doing so, you're opening yourself to new ways of learning as well as new experiences, and you'll become a wiser medium. So for those of you who are working on your mediumship, this card is excellent. And for those of you who are thinking about it and who are entertaining the idea, this is kind of your sign, like, go do it. I know some people say, oh, every psychic, or they say not every psychic is a medium, but every medium is psychic. And there's a part of this that, like, maybe it's just the way that it's phrased or like the standalone statement that it is. Whereas that might be true, there is a distinction between psychic information and medium information. I do feel like everybody has the ability to be a medium. Some have a more natural knack for it than others, but it's a skill. It's something that I just heard you can't erase your ability. So don't ever feel like spirit can just take it from you, because that's not what it is. We have our divine right to connecting with spirit. It's almost, they just said something like a religious freedom. So again, you don't have to indulge specifically in religion in order to embrace mediumship. And you also don't have to indulge in mediumship or study mediumship without already believing in a certain religion that you follow. Those two things can coexist together. It's just, I do feel like there are different interpretations of, for example, just because it's off the top of my head, the Bible. There are different interpretations of the Bible. And I feel like it is meant more of like, if that's how you want to look at religion, the Bible can be seen more of a guidebook and less as a condemnation, and viewing religion very loosely as like, oh, because like if you think about it, I'm not trying to get into like the debate of religion or what you see here, but the Bible was written by seers, from my understanding. So even though God works through us all from a religious standpoint, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but from my Christian background as a child, from my understanding, if God or the universe or love is working through us all, then the Bible is just another one of those ancient teachings that don't always necessarily have to be abided by if it does not resonate with you. There are so many other texts in the world that you can follow that don't have to be ancient holy scriptures. I just find that ancient scriptures carry a certain power because so many people line up behind it. So just as much, this is why Reiki is so powerful, channeling, healing, and source energy, because so many people believe in it. So things that people believe in have power. That's kind of like another, I'm assuming there's a reason that I wanted to say that, but just to keep ahead, just to keep it in mind while you're studying that. Just make sure you are using your gifts, is what Spirit says. Regardless of what you believe, you have gifts, and it is encouraged that you use them. The other card that popped out for you in this deck is Impression versus Expression. I'm going to read the back because I don't ever get this card at all. So let's see. There are multiple ways that we receive information from Spirit. It could be in words, images, or feelings, but how we relay or express the information back to the recipient must be carried out with due consideration and utmost care and sensitivity. Okay, let me keep reading before I say my piece. Many mediums are taught that you should always give what you get when delivering a message. In a sense, that's true, but as mediums, we must honor that many people look to us to assist them with their grief and are often still distraught, no matter how much time has passed since their loss. Always remember that while we must be open to any spiritual impression, we are responsible for conveying a sensitive expression. People pass over to the spirit world in a variety of ways, from natural causes, unexpected illnesses, or other circumstances. When you give off information, it's a delicate process. For example, if you're impressed with a scene of someone's passing, then you must be sensitive and discerning when you express the information to the sitter. It's possible they could be very emotional as they're still going through the bereavement process. They don't need to relive every detail of the experience again. Communicating that you're aware of a type of passing and, if possible, which area of their body was affected, as well as their relationship to the sitter, is often enough evidence for the recipient. Be kind and compassionate, as having an inherent sensitive nature is always a great asset for any medium to possess. Now, something important to keep in mind, if you're not specifically focused on mediumship, this could be just channeling your channeling wisdom from the divine. This is straight from channeling. This doesn't have to be with straight mediumship as well, but how you deliver the message is also important. And when we receive this information, it's almost like we have this knowledge, but how we convey it, this is conveyed through the lens of, as we've used an example of religion before, but some people take this knowledge and filter it through their religion, or they filter it through, like, my everybody's worldview is filtered. I'm just saying, like, every medium is going to have a filtered message from the divine, just because we have our own experiences, we have our own relationships, and that's not a bad thing if it's filtered through. Like, I have my own viewpoints, so Spirit only knows how to communicate with you through whatever you currently believe. So if you don't, for example, I'm going to use the example of James van Prague. It kind of freaked me out at the beginning of my journey because I read one of his really old texts that had said that he could not connect with loved ones who had passed over by suicide because he had this inherent belief, because it was like, I guess it was like his, involved with his religious background. He had this belief that he could not connect with those that have passed over by suicide, because he believed that they died before their time. It wasn't in God's plan, so that they had to roam the earth for like however long they were supposed to live here, and then they passed over. And he actually just went on a podcast. I think it was Inspire Nation. I'm not sure. It was one of those podcasts that like get broadcasted to YouTube and like other podcast stations. And he had said that that's actually not, from his experience, once he got rid of that belief, he was able to actually connect with people who had passed from suicide, even if it was only after a few months of their passing, or after like a few, so he said, I didn't realize that my belief was what was clouding my view of that. So we are all just expressing here, like this from me as a medium, like my beliefs throughout my spiritual journey in the last 2 years have really, since my abilities opened, my communications with Spirit have always been influenced by things that I dared to venture to believe, or if I believed in something scary, or if I read about something scary, then I would start to experience it. And something that I've had to learn was that I needed to take careful attention to, like, okay, what do I believe? What do I think? What is my mission here? What do I hope to achieve with this spirit communication? Because yeah, I can talk to other entities and ghosts and different souls that are passing through. They don't really seem to understand, and it's not their fault. Some of them are like the sweetest things ever, but they don't really understand like the highest good, or they don't see the map of the highest good. And sometimes you can't really discern whether, they're trying to help you or not. So, if they express kind words, then I'll talk to them. But like, what can you bring out into the physical? Spirit communication, as cool as it is and as amazing as it is, I've tended to focus on, okay, in my work, and I've told this to Spirit, and we've had many conversations about this between me and Spirit, and then once I'm almost done, and then I'll shut up about this, I promise. But once you connect, once you make that connection, we've had many conversations, and I had said that when I do my work, I want to channel things that uplift and empower people. I want to give them hope, and like, not false hope, but I believe in our power to create. My guides have like pointed out to me time and time again that we have the power to create our own reality. It's through our beliefs, it's through our experiences, it's through whatever energy we put out there. And that is a big theme of my spiritual awakening, was that I was choosing suffering so much that one day I just realized, oh my gosh, I have been choosing to suffer this whole time instead of taking control and shifting my awareness. And I wasn't realizing, when I was in a state of empowerment, how I could actually be helping people with my gifts instead of bringing myself down and, spreading fear. So I've had to learn, and I've had to shift. And once you embrace a certain thing, even though you understand that other realities or other perspectives exist, and in other people's realities, those beliefs stand just as strong, that is their filter. You have your own filter, but you can choose to change this filter at any point. You can choose to experience the divine in any different way that you choose. And I feel like Sagittarius, that you kind of have this same ability of recognizing that other people's truths are just as strong as yours. You don't have the strongest truth just because you experience a little bit more of spirit, or like you get like you have your own experiences that click and make sense to you. But it's not that everybody else is wrong, it's just they have different truths, and you can hold those truths and see them as equal value, which is incredibly impressive, Sagittarius. I just got the chills from that. So, oh my golly. So that's just kind of like, I think it's interesting because, and I'm gonna pull tarot and then roll the angel dice and then I'll send you on your way. But I feel like, Spirit kind of wanted me to have a sit down conversation with you about it. Just in terms of like sharing those things. Just because you're recognizing this power, and I see that with your tarot cards. I see that you're recognizing your ability to create great things. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords together here. The Ace of Wands came out, and it's almost like, so it came out kind of reversed at first, and Spirit was telling me to put it in an upright position. It feels like, because it came out kind of in reversed at first, but it's mainly meant to be upright, I feel like there's just a little bit of resistance here. But with this, as you embrace this change, it's through like maybe I don't know why, like a pop in the head. Like there's some type of epiphany here that's just going to gently pop up in your mind. It's going to be like a divine expression. It's going to be something that your higher self kind of feeds to you along the way. But it's going to be something that offers like a moment of clarity as you step into this change. And then when it follows, the Ace of Wands comes up, and you're like taking hold of your ability to create. So because it kind of came out first, it came out in reversed a little bit. There is a little bit of resistance here, but it's almost like you understand, oh snap, I have the power. And you might kind of be worried about it a little bit, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to create, or like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to create the wrong thing. There could be a little bit of resistance in fully grabbing your power and harnessing your creative potential to its fullest. But with this clarity, I feel like you quite literally are slicing away at the demons that come by. Like it's something that follows up right after the Ace of Wands, to where you won't have to worry about, you want to, like, don't think you'll have to worry, like, you have, like, there might be a fear of, like, I don't want to create, like, a monster, or like, oh my gosh, like, when you understand that you have the power to view things and cause negative impacts on people, it's like, it's a lot. It takes a lot, and I feel like you can stand strong in this truth, Sagittarius, and you can make good decisions with your power. There is kind of like this card that's coming to mind from a different deck that I don't have with me. It's called Crown Games, Right Use of Power. And the message of that card is that you are able to hold within you, you have all of this power, but you are recognizing that you have the power to create, you have the power to destroy. And sometimes that really scares people because they don't want to make the wrong decision. But it's almost like Spirit saying that this is like, I don't want to talk too much about this because it's kind of like a little bit more, I feel like it's more information than necessary, but I feel like you will understand and you will know what's meant to come next for you. And I think that the fear here is just that, it's a fear. Worrying about standing in someone else's truth and knowing that it's wrong for you, I don't think it's going to be a concern for you. You have the 10 of Cups here, and the 10 of Cups is a feeling of emotional fulfillment. It's a feeling of, I just heard that there's like something about wanting to, it's like, you know, like when people say like raising the stakes, I'm not quite sure what they're saying, but it's almost like you need stakes or you have stakes. It's not like anything is at risk here, but I feel like there's something here that you are working towards. You're working towards this emotional fulfillment, and you're understanding that, okay, in order to achieve this fulfilling future, in order to achieve this fulfilling thing, I feel like you're really stepping into your power and trying to create it. Like you're going to earn it. And Spirit's like, you are working on earning it, and you know it's within your reach because you have a lot of ideas. With the 8 of Wands, you have a lot of passions, you have a lot of creative endeavors, you have a lot of things that you're aiming for, and a lot of wishes that you are making. And this is kind of a card calling for you to focus a little bit more on one specific thing and help bring that to fruition before you kind of, it's almost like try to focus on the cup of water, because if you try to spill it out in different directions, the water's not going to go very far. But probably it's a bad analogy because you can always be filling up your cup and you can probably achieve a lot more than just one thing. But don't worry, try to pour your energy into one thing. It does seem like you have a lot I just heard like something to base your time off of, but that doesn't really grammatically make sense. But I feel like I know sort of what they mean is like you have a lot of stuff, you have a lot of ground to cover. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, you don't have to put all your eggs in all of these different baskets. You can you can focus on one or two at a time. You can afford that. Just trust that these new things will come your way and that you will be able to step into each of these and step into this future that you want to create, Sagittarius. So let's get some messages from the angel dice before we send you on your way. You have 323, as always, pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. Ascended Masters are with you to remove all blockages and challenges on your pathway so that you can live fearlessly. One more time, Ascended Masters are with you to remove all blockages and challenges on your pathway so that you can live fearlessly. Okay, so this week is going to really be the time to tackle those things. And for whatever reason, I keep getting this image of like Ascended Masters quite literally to help you ascend to your throne. Whatever it is, this power that you are coming across, there's just something here about royalty. There's something here about coming into the throne. You're like stepping into your full power. So like, and by that they're telling me like what they always show me is like you're kind of the king of your own kingdom. And oftentimes, like I very often get the image of my guides bestowing a crown on my head of like, this is your kingdom, you rule it, you create things as you see fit. And this is kind of the same thing that I see them doing to you. Like, it's almost like you are the king, the queen, the ruler of your kingdom, and Spirit's like bestowing the crown onto you, and they're like, okay, what do you wish to create with this? Like, I just heard, like, what do you want to do with this dumpster fire? So know some of you view your life as a dumpster fire and you're just like, okay, let's fix it up. But but it's all beautiful in a way, and you recognize this. So what do you want to do with your kingdom? What do you want to do with your power, Sagittarius? With that, thank you so much for allowing me to channel for you. Thank you to your angels and your guides. Thank you to my spirit team and angel guides for allowing me to connect with you in your energy. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time.